Okay, so I'm thinking about something right now that I think is probably late for me to have even considered this, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to collect my thoughts on this. And what I'm about to propose with this thought, because I mean this is just a brainstorming, but what I'm about to propose is in no wise any slander against the Jewish community whatsoever. This is no anti-Semitic propaganda, and this is no slander against the Christian community as well. This is just my thoughts, and also my thoughts are based on, if one were to be in a position of global influence, how would one be able to go about obtaining this global influence? So again, I'm just trying to brainstorm these ideas and see how this could be the way that it needs to be. And these are all assumptions. This is not factual. This is not proven. This is not certified theories. This is just me brainstorming right now, today, January 15, 2025. Okay? So, the religion Christianity, it became popularized in the first century, right? Obviously after the death of Jesus Christ, and it became popular by the influence of his life, and also what his disciples witnessed. It was more than 12 disciples. The book of Acts, it was 70 disciples. And of the 70, you had the 12 that became apostles, and then they received these gifts of the Holy Spirit to be able to speak different languages and to have healing powers and things of that nature. Also, we had apostles like Paul, who became an ambassador of the Gentiles and spread even so forth the message of Christ. And with Paul's interpretations compared to what he knew as an apostle, and how he was able to articulate certain things of the spiritual law versus what was in the Old Testament, Christianity became so it became so flexible in many ways, because as we know, the Old Testament was, you know, it was black and white. It was night and day. Paul was able to bring a nuanced approach to it for people to be able to understand spiritual and carnal, right? And again, don't get me wrong, you know, Christianity, the religion itself, is you know, if one is trying to promote themselves in the best way possible, to be the best version of themselves with the influence of God and the Son and the Holy Spirit, then it's a good religion for one to follow. You know, because I believe that it tries to bring out the best of humanity, right? Yeah, so I have no qualms. I don't have any qualms with Christianity. But what I will say is this: is that if all of these things, which are good and, you know, promotes the best of humanity, if we consider all of these things, why does it have to be in a religion? You know, like why does it have to be a religion? You know, why can't it be like a tenet? Why can't it be an archetype, you know, way of life, you know, where people are able to culturally incorporate this into their lives, and, you know, and it be all in a universal agreement, you know what I'm saying? Because not only do you have Christianity, but you have other religions. You have Catholicism, which initially is a form of Christianity, You have the Protestants, which is another form. You have the Mormons, which is another form. And then you have other, you have other religions, which align more so with Judaism, which is the belief, the Islamic beliefs. They're not necessarily Christian, but in a way, it's a lot of similarities. But then you have the Far East religions. You have, you have Hinduism, Taoism, Buddhism, and then you have ancient Mesopotamian religions, which were influenced in the Babylonian empires. And then not only that, but then you have, pre-Christian beliefs or pre-Judaism, not pre-Judaism, but pre-Christian beliefs of, the Greek gods and the Roman gods, you know what I'm saying? So there's other religions, right? But even still, people can nowadays universally agree that Christianity in some kind of way tries to promote the best of humanity. But again, why does it have to be religion based? Why can't it be, like I said, an agreed universal way of life, a tenet? I'm not saying why can't Christianity be. I'm just saying the way of life that is promoted within that religion. Why can't it just be something that is not a religion? Like why can't that be promoted, right? Now, with that being said, I believe that with the many walks of life that the many Christians, past, present, and future, that have endured and fought to, progressively stake his claim to being a universally acknowledged religion, with its whole entirety, because there is some good and bad about it. But at the end of the day, Christianity is universally acknowledged, and where it is today, you know what I'm saying, and the many derivatives of it, because you have so many non-denominations. You got baptism, you got Pentecostal, Seventh-day Adventist. You have all of these different derivatives of Christianity, right? People can say that they are this and they are that, but at the end of the day, there is an innumerable amount of derivatives that are based solely off of Christianity. And taking all of this into consideration, I truly believe that the fact that Christianity is a universal influence on all of these countless religions, that there is a glass ceiling. There is a glass ceiling within our entirety of mankind and our many journeys and walks through life. It is a glass ceiling. I believe that we can only go a certain height, and there is a behind the scenes influence that authoritates and makes sure that we cannot go beyond that glass ceiling. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're Pentecostal. It doesn't matter if you're non-denominational. It doesn't matter if you are, any of these different types of religions. It really doesn't matter. You cannot go beyond that glass ceiling. And there is an authority set that makes sure that that does not happen. Now, why am I saying all this? I'm saying this simply because I believe that Christianity was created to keep the masses in a certain bubble that the people that create the bubble are able to mold and shape in the way that they see fit. Now, mind you, if you look at the origins of Christianity, I learned about the origins of the word, I learned the word religion. I learned about the origins of the word religion and the cult. And the irony in this shit is crazy, but I learned the origins of religion from the cult that I was in. And the word religion is derived from a Greek word, which is religios or religios, which means to bind, right? Or keep back, right? So there, there it is again. That's that fucking glass ceiling, right? So religion is it's essentially binding or keeping us from exceeding past a certain point, right? So I believe that Christianity was created to keep us back from a certain advantage, right? But who is it? Who are the ones that created this bubble? Who are the ones that ensured and made sure that, hey, we got to keep this shit the way it is. We got to keep this shit drum tight, because if word gets out about certain things, it would be pandemonium. And again, this is hypothetical. This is just coming from my thoughts, right? I am not validating this as material that people should consider and start to research. I'm saying this based off of my thought process, right? Christianity was made by Jews, right? The apostles, the 70 disciples, the people that followed Christ. But these were Jews that were they were fed up with the Roman law. They were fed up with the Jewish priests, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. They were fed up with this corruption. So it became a revolution, right? Christianity, it had good origins from its inception with this person being Jesus Christ. It had pure intentions. It was innocent. But somewhere along the line, somewhere down the line, it became corrupt. And it became something that people will be able to control and manipulate the way that they wanted it to be. Okay. So the disenchanted Jews, the ones that were revolutionaries, the ones that wanted, like they weren't fighting against the Roman system, they weren't fighting against the priests, but they were really trying to mend the laws of God to where it could be universally accepted, to where, we got to look past the carnalities of this, you know what I'm saying? Like, we really got to stop sleeping around with each other. We really got to stop doing this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't be stoning motherfuckers just because, this person done this umpteen times. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're human. Like, we're fucked up to begin with. Like, let's stop that, and let's consider the fact that somebody came and they died so we didn't have to keep doing the sacrifices. We didn't have to, this unclean and clean, verifying. Like, we had to make sure that, like, we can't keep doing it. That's the reason why this person came. You know what I'm saying? And they're trying to argue with the Sadducees and the Pharisees about why they shouldn't be doing these things. But again, like the priests, you know what I'm saying? Like, it became a monopoly for them. The laws of Moses that was given to him by God, right? It was, it was like, hey, this is what you're going to practice until, your kids, right? It was indefinite. And the priests did this for free. The Levite priests, they did all of this for free. The sacrifices, the surgeries, the verification of cleanliness, they did all of this for free, right? With them doing this for free, that meant that the Levites, whenever the kingdom was split up into different cities based on the tribes, the Levites could stay wherever they wanted to because they were in the service of God, right? They had to stay all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Because they had to do the service of God. So essentially, later on down the line, the more that the Israelites started to rebel, the more broke that they became. Every time they went into captivity, they came out of captivity and they just became broker and broker and broker, right? And even the Levite priests, like, they started suffering. Like, yo, man, this is some bullshit, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they were they were dwindling down essentially in their money, right? And I believe that with these kingdoms that came in to take over the children of Israel, that obviously that caused them to become more broke. But because taxes and all this other stuff that they had to pay for, you know what I'm saying? I believe that the priests, like they really started to have a corruption arc, in a sense where, because I really can't determine the true origins of whenever the Pharisees or the Sadducees came to be. I think that's kind of jacked up, you know what I'm saying? Because that's almost like with Islam, you got the Sunnis and the Shiites, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think anybody can really determine the origins of those sects, just like I can't determine the sects of the Pharisees and Sadducees, right? But anyway, getting back to the main point. So I believe that the priests took advantage, and they was like, well, shit, man, if our people keep fucking up, and if we keep going into captivity, and our people got to keep paying their oppressors, then we might as well take advantage of that too. Because regardless of what's happening, they're not going to listen to God. You know what I'm saying? And they rather listen to their oppressors more than they listen to God. So, they're going to have jobs of being fishermen and taxmen and all this, and lawyers and all that. So we might as well take advantage, and we might as well cash in. Let's start buying these crops. Let's start buying these cattle. Let's start buying the animals and these things that require sacrifices. And whenever they come to us, because they broke anyway, we can provide them with the animals that they need for the sacrifices based on the law. So then they started to benefit, and they made that, they made that their money. You know what I'm saying? That they changed the laws of Moses and the laws of God. They changed that into a monopoly. Because, and if you think about it, only the Israelites, only they practiced that. So obviously the priests, they weren't going to get their money any kind of way. They knew their own culture, and they made it into a monopoly. That's what they did, right? So with that, that corruption set in, and it was all about money, and that's what it was. And when you look at it, when you look at the Gospels, especially in the book of John, the priests, they was really worried, because all the things that Christ was saying was essentially saying, yo, dog, look, it's been fucked up for a long time. I came to fulfill the law. We are, and basically Christ is saying, look, we're human. We're going to be poor. We're going to be jacked up. But, you know what I'm saying, we're not going to keep doing the sacrifices. We're not going to keep doing like these things. We're not going to keep doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to suffer, and we're going to go through it because, we're the children of God. And I'm here for a reason, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's things that I have to do, and I'm going to tell my disciples what they need to do, and I'm going to fulfill the law. You no longer have no authority, especially since you made it into a monopoly, right? Excuse me. Now, with that being said, Book of John, the priest, the cats that was about that money, they was like, look, man, what we gonna do? Because, this cat, he's about to mess up our money. The Romans, they don't practice what we practice. We can't go to no other nation because they don't practice what we practice. If he messes up everything that we built, we're gonna be broke. We're gonna be poor, just like those poor, lost, destitute souls of the same people that we have become the parasite to. You know what I'm saying? So they had to take him out, and they had to find all these reasons why they needed to take him out. And so they came up with these elaborate stories and all this other crap. And we know what happens to Christ. We know it, right? Now, again, Christianity, even though it's a religion, what Christ was doing was something that was revolutionary. It was revolutionary to go against what the priest had essentially corrupted, what they profaned, right? And And so, you know, with Christ being the one to start that revolution, you know, it was supposed to snowball into this dynamic understanding of, like, hey man, these laws, like, let's get that out of here, and let's really try to, like, look more into humanity. Like, let's really look more into a lot of things. If you look at the interactions that Christ had with people, even that woman when she, you know, when he told her about the water of life and all that, and he said that she had like 5 husbands, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was really like he wasn't dogging her, but like he was really just exposing the fact that, hey, you know, like, you're a woman that, you know, you may not have, you know, you may not have you may not have it all figured out, right? And I know that you may not have it all figured out because you've had 5 husbands. Or, you know, it was, I believe that with what he was doing, it was more of a refinement for humanity, instead of a desperation of law. A desperation of law that became a monopoly, right? Now, obviously, with this revolution that took place, the Jews saw this as a threat to their empire. They took them out, and with the help of the Roman Empire, they were able to take out the apostles, and they had martyrs of this revolution. And I believe that the Jews, they really manipulated it, the corrupt Jews, they manipulated it into a way where they staunched the revolution. They staunched the actual true meaning of what Christ and the apostles was trying to do, and they changed the entire narrative. They changed the entire narrative, and they created that bubble, and they put everyone that was not of their caliber within that bubble. It doesn't matter if you're Roman Catholic. It doesn't matter if you're Pentecostal. It doesn't matter if you're Seventh-day Adventist. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, it just don't matter. We're going to put you in that bubble because we have a higher calling. We are the ones that can dictate what you're supposed to believe. What I'm saying is this. Based on my train of thought, what I'm saying is, what if the Jews that were really involved in, like, the deep, like what we know as deep state now, right? Like, let's say that there was this ancient deep state movement, you know what I'm saying, where, you know, there was elites and there were people that had to obtain and gain this privilege, you know, based off of, you know, hereditary, you know, like, just, it was passed down through a bloodline or whatever, right? But what if there was an elite class of Jews that staunched the revolution of what Christ was trying to do, and they created a narrative of what Christianity was supposed to be, and they gave that to the world. Because if you think about it, what other religions could have became a threat to Judaism? Let's think about that. Like, let's really think about that. What other religion could have became a threat to Judaism? So you have the ancient Greeks that evolved into the Romans, and, you know, like, that's, you know, Zeus became, or Apollo became Zeus, or whatever it was, right? Or vice versa, right? And with that in consideration, you had ancient beliefs from Mesopotamia and the Babylonians. You had Hinduism and all this, right? I don't think the Jews necessarily thought that Hinduism or Buddhism was really going to be a threat, because, you know, they believed in self and all this other crap. So, you know, like, yeah, you know, we don't need that, right? I believe that the Jews, like, they really, I think in a way, and this is just, I'm just brainstorming, I think they tolerated the Roman beliefs, the pagan beliefs. They tolerated it because the Romans allowed the Jews to have their religion. And again, I believe that with the Jews changing the narrative of the revolution that Christ started, they told the Romans that, hey, if we don't staunch this right now, it could be a great threat to not only us. They will take us out, but then they will take your beliefs out. You believe in all these different gods and all of this. They believe in one God. They don't want to complicate shit. You know what I'm saying? So if people start to agree with if they start to agree with monotheism, then your polytheism and your influence could be taken away, and even your kingdom could be taken away. So I believe for a long time, you know, I believe that real Judaism, I believe that took a back seat, but it was more of an influential back seat. And I believe that Christianity became a forefront, and it coincided with the pagan beliefs of the Roman Empire at the time. And eventually they integrated each other, right? The same way that we have all these different people like Hercules or Aphrodite, and like all these demigods and all these other gods of polytheism. The same way that we see them as gods or half gods or whatever is the same way that the Roman Catholic Church had all these different saints. So they obtained sainthood, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing, right? I truly believe that when Christianity integrated the pagan beliefs, that was the only way that kingdom could stand. And the Jews, the ones that really controlled everything, that was like, see, I told you, you know what I'm saying? I told you that your kingdom could potentially fall because of the influence of Christianity. So what you got to do is you got to integrate that shit, because a lot of people agree more with Christianity because it's not complicated. Put it together, make your pagan beliefs right along with the beliefs of Christianity, where, Christmas can be this or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, I truly believe that that's what happened, right? Now, with that, you got, let me see. I don't know, man. It's my brain is starting to die off on that train of thought, but that's what I believe in a way. And I believe that with as long as we have been here, humans, and as long as we've had an influence of Christianity, and all these different beliefs, I believe that we are all in a bubble that was created by a narrative that still holds, and that still has that power today. I truly believe that. Now, what I'm also going to say is, because we have to consider the Roman Inquisition, when they were killing all these Christian martyrs and all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one thing that we got to consider, because that happened at a time where I believe, there was paranoia. There could have been people that was whispering all this stuff in the Romans' ears, about the threat of their kingdom falling because of that. And then we also have to consider, the Crusades between Christianity and Islam, and why that actually happened. Like, is there a consideration that potentially, that was manipulated? But, I just randomly had this thought, you know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not, I put it to you like this, right? There's Jews and then there's Jews, right? that statement, right? The there's Jews statement, right? Those are good people, right? Those are good people, and they may want to do well. They may want to contribute to society. They may want to do things that are altruistic. But then the other part, and then there's Jews. I think that there are people that are on the upper echelon of power and influence that have, like, they got some deep-seated manipulation like going on, dog. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a dichotomy, right? Just like black people, like we have a dichotomy, you know, where there's genuine good black people that want to do, like, we want to do good, but then we got black people that's just not good at all. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter. Every race has a dichotomy within itself, right? Every race, no matter who you are. You know what I'm saying? So, is what I'm saying anti-Semitic? You be the judge. But this is just a thought.